knocked loose. White dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor.
They try to save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derek White.
Welcome in, First to the Floor podcast. Ben Vallis here, along with Jake Eisenberg. Jake, the Celtics 120-99 win over Kristaps Porzingis' Golden State Warriors. Another exceptional win, and more importantly, the Jays. Not only probably Jayson Tatum's best game since the return, but the connection between Tatum and Brown really on display in this one, Jake.
Yeah, that's definitely the overall takeaway of these games. So at the moment and yesterday is that I'm just really enjoying having both Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum back in my life playing for the Boston Celtics. Like having Tatum back, incredible. Having both of them back, you just have a completely renewed appreciation for what's made the Celtics special over the past 10 years now almost, which is kind of crazy. And I know we've talked about that a lot, but that is the prevailing feeling for me at the moment. And I'm grateful that we have it at this time of year, like late March. The basketball across the NBA is all over the place at this time of year. But we have a very fun team to watch right now. 2 top 10 scorers of all time, really, in the chat. Shout everybody out there listening at the moment. Appreciate you. But yeah, it was just like a good fashioned, comfortable blowout in the end. It should have been a blowout earlier. Mm-hmm. There were like some moments throughout the game where it was like, didn't get that offensive rebound, put the Warriors in the bonus early. Like the level of focus and attention to detail, I didn't think was there relative to the Suns game. And that probably has to do with the fact that the Warriors are trotting out who they're trotting out at the moment. Quentin Post wasn't generating the same respect out of this Boston Celtics team, it didn't feel like.
No, I still thought Draymond was quite good. It was one of the better like Draymond without Steph games I think I've seen. Like I don't know how they would have generated any offense if it weren't for him. But at the same time, it was good to see the Jays kind of cook him. Like Jaylen kind of went at him a couple of times with sort of varying degrees of success. But just, you know, I know 2022 is like so stuck in our minds, and the whole Draymond coming out being like, as soon as we figured out how to make them go left, like they were cooked, and just the growth since then and just the dominance over, and again, a very diminished Warriors squad. But that was really good to see.
Draymond just said to your Draymond point, like he still is one of the best defenders in the league, whether it's isolation, protecting the rim, help defense, directing traffic. Like he's just so strong and so long, and the IQ is out of control. So like Jaylen's been able to cook pretty much everybody, but like that specific body type where he's so strong, the length to contest everything, get into his handle, like at that age still, like Jaylen Brown's dusting everybody at the moment, including guys like Lou Dort. Mm-hmm. Like give me Draymond Green in one game still at this point behind like Wemby. I know Jaylen Brown thinks he's the best two-way player in the league out of all the humans. I'm not sure I can agree. But Draymond still, when like the chips are down on the defensive end, still a monster.
Totally. Yeah. Strong and long. Good way to be. Wouldn't know personally, but looks like to be a good time. Jayson Tatum, I think probably just quickly, like we'll get to quite a bit tonight overall. We are going to jump over to the Patreon at some point as well. Show our Patreon subscribers some love. We've got a lot of interesting stuff to get to there as well. We'll talk about some broader stuff around the league, as well as maybe some upcoming travel plans for the podcast and a couple of other spicy things in the works. But back to the Warriors game. 120-99. And I thought this was Jayson Tatum's, I thought the Suns game was his best game back. And then I thought this was an improvement on that. The efficiency, like we finally got sort of a relatively efficient game, 7 of 15 from the floor, 5 of 11 from 3. And I think as part of that, what stood out to me was just the shot selection. And we'd kind of been giving, or at least me personally, had been giving JT the benefit of the doubt in terms of like, there were some things that looked counter to what has made this offense look so good this year, where like maybe Tatum coming up the court a little slower and kind of getting into his own look off the dribble, few passes. And I don't know about you, Jake, but I've just been thinking like this man has the green light to like get himself into game shape and to get himself into rhythm and like confident again. And I thought the Suns game, but certainly the Warriors game was the first better look at like, okay, he's more integrated. He's kind of figuring himself out while also figuring out the subtle differences to this offense. And it just seemed cleaner and like a tighter fit, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think the playmaking, the passing, the collapsing, the defense, it makes sense. Game 6. It feels like more than that already because I'm just like soaking it in every Jayson Tatum minute in. Just general Jayson Tatum soaking is always what we're kind of looking for. But a 68% true shooting. Like we kind of talked about it. It's like, how do you kind of discern between rust and normal Jayson Tatum shooting slump versus like normal Jayson Tatum bad shot selection? But those things tend to pop up throughout the last 8 years anyway. And last night he just made the shots. Sometimes I do think it's that simple. I do think he is getting more comfortable with the pull-ups. Obviously, they went in 5 for 11 from 3. A couple of them went in and out as well. I'm with you as far as the green light goes because that's the whole point of this period right now is to get him as comfortable as possible and feeling as confident as possible before we get to the playoffs. Greeny was the same. He's like, I don't really care what Jayson Tatum does. He can shoot off his knees, like elbow, shoot with his elbows, whatever he needs to do in order to feel like himself getting ready for the playoffs. And I feel like he has had most of the green light. I think in the Suns game, it felt like Jaylen really, not the Suns game. What was the game before that? It was the Washington game. It kind of felt like he let Jayson cook a little bit, just kind of getting out of the way when he needed to. And then vice versa, Tatum getting out of the way for Jaylen Brown in the Suns game. It's like, this is his time. He's going absolutely nuts. And also leveraging Tatum's off-ball gravity. Both of the Jays' off-ball gravity is proving to be really good. I have a question for you. So
Please.
We didn't see one in the real game yesterday, but they released like the first episode of Celtics All Access, or they released an episode of Celtics All Access, which included Jayson Tatum behind the scenes of his first scrimmage with Maine. They gave him the jersey, the Maine Celtics jersey, Big Deuce, got to play. In those clips, we had a one-legged pull-up 3 that went in.
Yeah.
And I've been like, is he just taking these because he feels off balance? And then all of a sudden he's like, there, I'm just taking it. It does not appear that that is the case and that this is something that they have been working on. I tweeted like, hey, it's cool. Let's just put that one back in the bag for now.
Not a fan?
Trey was like, no, keep shooting him. If you're working on it, if he starts making it, it's even like defenses have to play even further up. My thing is like, let's just get back to all the things that we were good at before, and then we can bring out the one-legged 3s maybe next season. I'm still dubious on that shot. It's possible that maybe they've developed that as like a Achilles because he's shooting it from his left leg. And so the right leg's like raised as he shoots it. So is it some sort of Achilles load prevention? No idea. But thoughts on the one-legged 3 that seems to be entering our lives?
But the whole thing was like, I ain't coming back to be no role player. I've got to be 100% before I return. And all of the data that we've gotten up to the point and subsequently has been like, yeah, he scrimmaged with Maine. He was doing 5-on-5s with the coaches and then the primary Celtics. So like you're 100%. 100% to me does not look like I'm back, but also I'm sworn to one-legged 3s from now on because I guess I'm not 100%, right? That those two things don't click with one another. So whether it's a shot release timing thing, like it's rather than getting both feet set to get the shot off, if you can just in your stride get a one-legger off, I think that makes some sense. And if they've been toying with that and found like he can get his shot off 0.7 seconds more quickly and with less of a contest as a result, then maybe that's a reason to go for something like that. But I have noticed it, and I have to say I think I've been subconsciously like being like, I don't want to think about this because I'm not liking it very much.
Yeah, K Money in the chat saying Zach Lowe theorized that it's a think he's uncomfortable with stopping his momentum. That's what I thought when I first saw it in the first game. It was like, like right here is typically when I stop, pop, get my legs underneath me, and fire my favorite shot in the pull-up three. And this is like just in the flow. I'm not really ready to stop my momentum, and I'm not really ready to drive either. So I'm just going to fire up this one-legged thing up. I don't know. Definitely something to monitor. As it stands right now, I'm out on the one-legged threes. If it's like a body preservation thing or whatever, then fine. Whatever. Don't really care. But as far as close game, not the shot I'm going to be drawing up if I'm Joe Mazzulla.
Quick side note. So the Rewatchables pod, every movie they do, they've got the like, what item from this movie would you want the most? What item from this season would we want the most? The main Celtics big juice jersey. Like, give me that shit. I want that. As far as I can tell, it's unless you like take the schematic to like a Chinese manufacturer, you cannot have it made or purchased
I don't
anywhere.
think so.
But I need that in my life for some reason.
Yeah,
anyway.
They're not selling that for some reason. Very weird.
Yeah, one of one it seems. But so Tatum freestyle like a little bit in this game. Obviously, like the KP, like the crossover where he kind of almost lost the ball, a bit of a high dribble there. If we're being honest about it, but like he cooked him.
Okay.
It looked great. We did see KP get cooked on the perimeter quite a bit, particularly in his second year. But he was like, to his credit, quite good at recovering and like getting the block on the driver. Tatum got him good, and then that like. I guess you can't really see it on the broadcast, but how he clearly like fakes up with his eyes before sort of stepping through and across and finishing on the other side of the basket. Tatum, that is. And I just thought that play was beautiful and just another notch on like the confidence belt, for lack of a better term.
Absolutely. And like, I think that drive got the headlines, and as it should, it was beautiful. It was on Porzingis. Like, it was a great moment. And I mean, I saw Sean Zanis say that's the first time Leonardo DiCaprio meme in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, hey, there he is. There is. That's him. That's the Jayson Tatum guy. I thought early in the game, I think like in the first quarter, I was like, well, see, and we've had these moments where he has these just scoring flurries, but he had the 3 threes in the first quarter, had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, had 2 bad turnovers. But I was like, man, those little stretches where it's not just a shot going in, he drove. And one of my favorite highlights from last season was like Tatum flying through the air against the nets. And then like, I call it the Sonny Bill pass for those familiar with rugby league, like kind of side flick to the corner to Sam Hauser. Did it again last night. Those are the moments and those are the plays that just indicate to me that when we get to the playoffs, the offense is going to hum. Can you break down the defense? Guy Santos, did you need to help? No, but that's just what happens when Jayson Tatum is getting downhill and looking like he's created a ton of advantage. You're going to help off Sam Hauser, which you should not be doing. And Tatum just finds a perfect bounce pass to the corner. Really impressive look. And Sam knocks it down. And then, of course, the full Jayson Tatum experience, if he knocks down 1 or 2 shots, he starts to behave as if he's Steph Curry now. And if he ever wanted to fix his efficiency, it would involve not doing that. But that's probably a lost cause at this point and doesn't kind of irrelevant. But yeah, I loved the game from him. To me, it looks like he is conserving energy out there. So, so he played 27 minutes for 3 games in a row, game off against the Thunder, and then they moved the minutes restriction up to 32 minutes. I would be surprised if all of a sudden because that was a 5-minute jump. I'd be pretty surprised if all of a sudden next game or the game after the minutes restriction is now up to 37 minutes. Mm-hmm. My prediction based on the vibes and watching him as far as like how hard he's able to play, I'm guessing that they stay at the 32-minute mark a little bit longer, or it's like a more gradual increase, like it's up to 34 minutes. Because to me, it looks like defensively, he's conserving energy, whether it's off ball, getting stuck on screens, because he's one of the best off-ball defenders in the NBA before the Achilles injury. So I wonder if it makes sense. 32 minutes is real. And when you're doing as much as he is on the court, both initiating, defending, rebounding, like that's going to sap a ton of energy for a guy that hasn't played in 10 months. So I'm predicting it's not jumping to 37 minutes. It's probably like we're going to stick in this little 32 to 34 minute range for like another week or 2 would be my guess.
Sure, right. But then getting to unrestricted by the time he hits the playoffs?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I think that 27-minute mark was probably like a very conservative. You're probably like physically you're ready to kind of play as much as you want, but we're just going to start small. And then the 32 was probably like the place he was ready to start originally anyway. This is all based on nothing really outside of my own vibes, but
That's what it's all
still,
about.
still plenty of time. And like, if you told us before he came back that by the playoffs, he was playing 32 minutes a game and looked like 75% of Jayson Tatum, 80% of Jayson Tatum, we'd be like, and he's giving you 25, 10, and 5 on 54% true shooting, and he's dominating the margins and the advanced stuff is all fantastic. Would you take that? I think most of us would probably take that. The fact that we're here already after he came back on the 6th of March. It's now the 19th of March. So that's 2 weeks. We got another month to go.
Well, yeah, and you touched on it. Like the advantage creation is already there. Like the drive and kick stuff that you were talking about. Like this whole offense is predicated on like finding an advantage and then capitalizing on it or exploiting it. And like where Jayson Tatum is already not a role player and he's not in like so many facets, don't get me wrong, but where he's like vastly so much better in the starting lineup over like Sam Hauser, for example, is that he can get downhill, draw multiple defenders, and then kick out the ball and get defenses in rotation. Like he's doing that at whatever percentage he was in game one, essentially drawing two defenders. So like that alone, as far as longevity around creating advantages, not just through the regular season, but in the playoffs as well, like it just adds like so much literal spiciness to whatever the recipe is. So him back in whatever form he is at the moment is already so damn good. On that, like his usage rate, I think went up to just under 30% in the Warriors game, which I think is a high since his return. Friend of the show, La Bird, as well, had this on Reddit, basically about like how the signs of Tatum returning to a fully formed version of Jayson Tatum are already there. So he mentions the field goal percentage trending up each game. So starting at around 37%, going up to 41, then 42, 44, and then 47 last night. He's leading the team in plus minus. His stats across the game.
Of course he is. Of course he is.
21 points. Yeah, of course. But I mean, still very impressive.
That's great. Of course. It's ridiculous.
But the stats across the few games that he's been back, 5 or so games, 20.7 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.2 steals, and I already mentioned the percentages. But if you lift that minute restriction and expand that to per 36, because he generally averages about 36 minutes per game, you get 25.4 points, 10.4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, and 22 field goals a game, which is essentially the Jayson Tatum template thus far. So it's a small but positive sample size. The other thing he talked about was Jaylen Brown, and the 2 months prior to Tatum's return, had been shooting 44% from the field, 32% from three. In the games played with Tatum, his field goal percentage is back up to around 49.4%. So I think his least efficient game recently was 40% against OKC without Tatum. Outside of that, he's essentially we all are, but Jaylen Brown and Derek White as well, which Lyrebird mentions in the post. I won't get to that, but definitely go check it out on Reddit. Their efficiency, both absolutely not skyrocketed, but like trending upward nicely since Jayson Tatum's returned.
Oh, Jaylen, I was going to say, like, this ties in very nicely, I think, to Jaylen in that. So last 7 games for Jaylen, the overall, like the counting numbers are down a little bit because he got ejected from the Spurs game. And so like his points per game across this span's a little bit lower, but still 25. The assists are actually up, as we've kind of evidenced, and the rebounds are down to 5.9, which even with the Spurs game kind of makes sense. A little bit of a scoring dip with Tatum coming back, a little bit of a rebounding dip with Tatum coming back. The free throw attempts up though to 2 attempts per game. That's kind of the big one, and I think the Suns game obviously drew attention to that, in that they just weren't willing to help off Tatum to a degree. And it's like Jaylen's gonna, like, if you do kind of start to help off, whether it's Tatum or someone else, the ball's gonna find Tatum and against a manipulated defense, and you're toast. But yeah, everything trending up for Jaylen as well. Like, and for him, he's just ho hum superstar right now. Like every night. I know the competition wasn't awesome, but we covered like the Warriors. Like they took the Knicks to the wire the other night. Like this, as we've seen with this version of the Celtics, you got good culture, you got good coaching. Guys can still bring it on night to night. You had Draymond out there. But Jaylen Brown, 32 points on 20 shots. The free throw stuff is very interesting. I mentioned on the previous part about him getting to 2 feet a lot more. I love it.
Yeah.
Get into your Jimmy Butler era because he's getting to his spots, get to 2 feet, pump fake. And then once he's down there and guys are even off balance at all, he's either finishing and getting the foul or just getting to the free throw line. And I don't know what's going on with the free throw percentage right now because it's at 90% over his last 7 games, which is a complete absurdity. This is interesting, not interesting, but like I went back and looked at Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum since 2019, which is the COVID/bubble season, all the way through last season, including playoffs, had played over 11,000 minutes together and had a +6 net rating going all the way back to those years. So the people that were concerned about whether or not they could play together for some reason, kind of insane. Yeah, Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, when they share the court now, after last night in 94 minutes, plus 17.7. It's pretty good.
People just need shit to talk about, which is insane because there's so much content, there's so much going on, and just even within the confines of the NBA, people continue to throw out disparaging remarks towards the Jays. Yeah, so at a macro level, the game last night against the Warriors was just like a hefty fuck you back to those people, because it was just so clear.
Always nice.
And even just on a one-to-one individual level, just the connections that the Jays were making, I thought, in setting each other up or like using each other's gravity to set teammates up as well. Like if Tatum was like coming off that sort of high flare, Jaylen would like recognize the shifting defense and just like drive baseline or like find a cutter. There's little stuff like that where like they're clearly using each other in ways that we've seen in spurts, but I do feel like there's this like maturation. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I haven't seen them play together in so long, but it feels really real and refined. It's great.
I mean, I hope this is the way that it turns out, but like you're kind of starting to see a reality where the Achilles injury may have ended up being good for the Boston Celtics, which is fucked up.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry, but it's like if he was going to tear it, is that not the best outcome? Is that for everybody involved, both Tatum, Brad, Jaylen, Pritchard, Derek, like all the young guys that got to play because Tatum was out? Like, let's just say Tatum gets back to 100% of himself next season. And then you get all this other stuff. And they get to still go on a deep playoff run this season and get under the luxury tax. It's like, it would be a great thing that the Achilles injury ended up being good, because it's better than it being bad. I know there's a weird way to think about it, but
no, you're right.
But that's the best case scenario. If you're gonna do it, it may as well work out awesome for everybody.
Yeah, I think you got to qualify that with like just saying like I'm just making it sure that listeners and haters in the comments and stuff know that we're not saying that it was a good thing that Jayson Tatum tore his Achilles.
Prefer him to have not done it, obviously.
Yeah, okay, cool. Just I need to have that established. It should be already very much implied, but there are some daft people occasionally in the comments. We got to get to prize picks, but like, did you hear Noah Dalzell? She asked JT after the game yesterday, like, a silver lining from being out for 10 months, like, has the rest of your body healed? Has your wrist healed? And in more words than this, he was basically like, my whole body is better now, which is fucking awesome.
Huge surprise. I refused to stop playing basketball for like 4 seconds over the past 8 years and nothing healed fully. Again, another silver lining.
Prize picks, more on Jaylen Brown. Jake, over to you. Quick word from our friends over at Prize Picks.
All right. It's Prize Picks time. We've got the Grizzlies coming up, who took down the Nuggets. Jokic and Murray played. So while they've been kind of actively tanking, that it might not be a layup. But that being said, we're going more Jaylen Brown points. As I said, ho-hum. Dude's just going bananas at the moment. And Tatum, is this the beginning of the hot streak? Give me more on rebounds at least. Peyton Pritchard cooks again. 19 yesterday. Give me more on him. And if Luka Garza gets in the game, which he is at the moment, let's gotta go more on rebounds, because the Grizzlies, I can see Luka Garza working his way into a 10 rebound game. Prize Picks, a little bit of fun this time of year. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. It's good to be right.
It's good to be right. Shout out Prize Picks and shout out the CLNS Media Network for presenting the First to the Floor YouTube show and audio podcast. Hit the like button, hit subscribe, help us defeat the algorithm, and ditto over there, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. The more you subscribe and like comment and rate and that sort of thing, the more it bumps us up those lists in podcast apps, and that helps for like getting guests and things like that. So please do all of the above. I feel like we didn't talk enough about Jaylen Brown, but like I don't really know what else to say other than like continues to be fucking awesome, continues to be mind-blowingly improving in multiple facets of his game. You mentioned the free throw shooting. There's this like sneaky Derek White to a backdoor cutting Jaylen Brown trend that we used to see with Marcus Smart, which seems to be coming up again. So I don't know where to go with this other than like my cup is full, Jake. My heart is full. I'm very happy with the Jaylen Brown / overall Celtic situation.
He's playing the best basketball of his career. And like that should be, I think what's being lost in the national story at the moment is that part. Because obviously Tatum's the story right now, as he should be. But what has happened, as we just kind of covered, is it's opened stuff up for everybody, including Jaylen Brown. And he had that kind of swoon middle of the season, which made sense because he was carrying such a heavy load, and he still has been carrying a heavy load at this time of year as well. But if the free throw rate's going to get kind of sustain like this, I don't know if I'm assuming the free throw numbers are just a like a blip or something. If he's kind of solved his free throw shooting all of a sudden, and he's like an 85% guy, then and on top of actually getting to the free throw line this much, then he is easily in the top 10. Easily in the top 10. Not even a question.
It could be an assignment for the chat, either for now or next pod, but like I would love to know what data there is around like statistically and reputationally bad free throw shooters going on like a free throw streak. Because like normally you see like people have like a hot streak from the floor for like a stretch of the season, but I don't know if we've never necessarily seen a lot of that with free throw shooters. Like, I don't know. I would just love to know if anyone has any use cases or examples that come to mind. But it's great. I hope that he doesn't unlearn how to shoot free throws. That's been great. But yeah, last night, like he did, I think the majority of his damage in the first half. And then there was one notable play early in the third quarter where it was like one of the slightly few scary runs that the Warriors made where they looked like they were going to cut it to within 10. And JB just like called for the ball third quarter, post up. Like Celtics had missed on a few trips down and then just like cashed it in as he tends to do from multiple areas of the court. It was a little bit Paul Pierce-like, just like I'm on the block, give me the ball, I'm going to score. Like truth with the game on the line. And yeah, love to see it. A couple of other moments that stood out from this game. We should probably get to the Kristaps Porzingis tribute as well. There's this unfortunate thing where if a player moves teams multiple times after leaving, it kind of like dilutes, I think, the impact of their return. And KP obviously bounced around one more time since leaving the Celtics, so it doesn't feel as real for whatever reason. But I love that they were like, here's a couple of things from like he was signed and the press conference, and then it was like, all right, bam, game 1 NBA Finals, like this is the moment for KP. And I know that he maybe didn't leave on the best of terms, and it's no fault of his. Like he obviously got very ill, and it seems like he's doing quite well now, which is great. But it did kind of leave a sour taste, and I think in some Celtics' mouth, just because of how it all went down and how there was a lot hinging around like the usage of KP, and like he didn't really come to play, and it was all just a bit whatever. I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But like ultimately, the best KP moments outweighed the worst KP moments, I think. And it was just good to see that sort of summarized in a nice little tribute video, and he seemed to be lapping it up as well, which is great.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah.
In every way. Like he loves the crowd, loves, the cheekiness on the court when he's he had like to start the game, he had those 2 blocks and he's like chirping to his own bench and then goes down and gets the free throw line, misses 2, laughing about it. Yeah, I mean, like that game 1 of the NBA Finals was one of the most absurd stretches of basketball you will see in that first quarter blocking Josh Green. Just one man to beat, but it's a 7-footer.
Yeah.
It's iconic. And yeah, like I definitely grew frustrated last season. It's incredible how well he's able to come back and look like exactly the same every time he does come back when he like is healthy in these moments. They did kind of cool him down as the game went along last night. I got so frustrated anytime they helped on a post up. I was like, anyone can guard him on the post up. Do not overreact. Make him make all these tough twos. He's not going to kill you. It's when you start sending help and letting him get to the free throw line. Make him catch that above the free throw line, and you're going to win the game. And they kind of settled into that. But yeah, the guys clearly love him. Him and JT were like seem to be making fun of each other for either looking big or small. I thought in the game, because I always make fun of my friends for being small because they're all small and weak. But that's what I thought because they were grabbing each other's biceps, which is a classic friendship move. And I assumed they'd be like, "You're looking a bit small, big dog." And then Kristaps, I think, did the reverse and was saying he was looking a bit fat in the post game. And I saw some people take it seriously. I just kind of took it as him joking and being like, "Yeah, JT's looking a bit overweight," which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he is. Like it's
dude, he has crazy definition and striations.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely clear. I think like 12% body fat tops on my expert assessment.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
a great question. Looking back, do you prefer a healthy KP or healthy Time Lord? I'm a Time Lord guy. But man, both of those guys, healthy versions of themselves.
Yeah.
Mythical beings. But yeah, it was a fun game, like national TV game. Obviously, not much juice without Steph and Jimmy Butler out there. But you know, we'll take the win. We're at 4 W's in a row now, going into the next one, maybe less, 3 in a row. I forget. We lost the Thunder.
3, I think it's 3. But
3 in a row.
It was a good moment in the fourth quarter where again the lead was dwindling and Derek White just banged the 3 and came back down and got a steal on the other end.
Yeah, that was the moment.
Yeah, and Drew Carter had like a great call. He was like, "We need a big shot, just dial 9," which I loved.
Yes,
I don't think he's ever busted that out before. And then Baylor Scheiman, similar situation, like lead, maybe not so comfortable, not as dire as that Derek White situation, but close. Baylor Scheiman's coming down the floor in transition. He's got on the wing alongside him, no less than Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard. And he just pulls up like right out on top of the 3-point line and just bangs his own 3. Thumbs up celebration.
It's a great celebration.
And like, just remember the shot selection and everything in Summer League and the beginning of the season and just how far he's come and how much confidence clearly translates into results as well for someone like anyone, but Baylor Scheiman in particular. Love that. So
man, he's got the cojones. The rebounding still ticking along, 8 boards in only 24 minutes. You know, I love to see that. But yeah, that was a moment, and it's the best celebration I think that's ever been created. The thumbs up. Yeah. He did kind of like get in a wrestling match with Gary Payton, and like was grabbing it afterwards. I'm like, yeah, he is playing with a broken thumb, which is kind of pretty fucking impressive considering it's on his shooting hand. Peyton Pritchard was fucking unbelievable. I thought in the second half, in particular, like he just talk about green lights. The dude should have a green light. And in the second half, what did he end up having? Because he had 19 on the game. And NBA.com, you can do this. No, not just going to freeze on me. Whatever. But I saw, 13 in the second half, 6 for 10 from the field, 5 assists, only 1 turnover. He was cooking everybody. Pull-ups, deep shots, doesn't matter. I saw some people mad on Twitter for him like looking off Tatum a bunch of times. Because Tatum did spend a lot of the game like his hand up, like wanting the ball, kind of being open and being missed, but some other times being like, dude, Pritchard's going to cook these guys. And I do want these guys to remain empowered and not feel like they have to defer to Tatum or Jaylen, because in particular, Pritchard, I think part of the secret sauce of this team in the playoffs is going to be him cooking dudes because they cannot help off everybody else. And he gets to attack like their weakest defenders or the guys that he enjoys attacking. Like last night, going straight at Quentin Post, straight at Kristaps Porzingis. The dude loves cooking your bigs. It's fucking awesome.
It's so
a
good.
great
It's
development.
so fun to watch. Yeah, he cooked Draymond as well at some point
Yeah.
where he was coming from like the opposite corner and kind of froze Draymond and then just like blasted by him as well, which was great. And Draymond like looked in that moment like he wanted to dissolve into the floor because it was just such a thorough cooking. Yeah, great stuff from Peyton Pritchard. Definitely a good call. And yeah, I hope that like heading into the playoffs, he can continue to attack with that kind of confidence without hesitation, without the like, oh shit, maybe I should defer back to the stars. Like I hope that and I have total confidence that he will maintain that mindset. Yeah, not a lot from Ugo. Ron Harper, we didn't get the Ron Harper magic last night. Shout out to the bigs though. I thought Nemi had quite a solid impact in this game, particularly in the fourth quarter, but wasn't like a huge scoring or rebounding night from Nemi. Did have 3 offensive rebounds though, but I love the way that he just like operates as a big, and he is like, I guess, the literal fulcrum of that flare action and just the options that he kind of quickly moves into off that screen, depending on like what sort of spacing opens up, just becomes increasingly fluid. And just to watch him operate in that regard and open things up for other guys is a lot of fun. Doesn't show up on the box score, but that's great. And Luka Garza comes in with less than 18 minutes, 6 of 10 from the floor, hard hat, hustle guy. Ends up with a positive plus minus for a guy who can have like some defensive deficiencies. And yeah, it might have been exposed a couple of times, but in lieu of Vucevic being around, I'm just loving what we're getting from Garza still. So it's another one of those games where it's like, tell me who was bad. And there were a couple of like not notable performances, but for the most part, I thought everyone was pretty great again.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if teams are able to figure that like flare screen thing out that they do a million times per game.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Whether it leads to an open shot or just like the defense being a little bit off kilter so you can attack from there. Because they just run it so often. It's just so muscle memory for them on like transition baskets and stuff like that. I do think it's hard for teams to scramble and deal with that over and over again. But it's fantastic. And I'm sure that Joe Mazzulla already has a counter to, like he's already kind of theorized whatever the counter is. And so he'll have an adjustment to that adjustment. Would be my guess. But probably don't need to belabor it too much. But yeah, the nice W from the old Boston Celtics.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice W indeed. We're going to hop over to the Patreon, talk about the Cade Cunningham injury. Very unfortunate injury. Hope that he is recovering well. But obviously there's some like flow-on impacts to the league and the Eastern Conference. We're going to talk about some travel plans and like some like life admin stuff for the podcast and upcoming schedule, plenty else to get to. So see you over there on the Patreon. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. All of our Patreon funding goes into like getting us overseas to Boston or to Vegas or wherever it might be to cover the team and to watch the team and maybe hang out with a few Discord members. So please subscribe over there. Jake Eisenberg, love your work, man. Until next time, go Celts.